Hello, my name is Rick Boulay, and I'm the president of Killeen Educators Association and of Region 10 of the Texas State Teachers Association. I'd like to welcome you to our Killeen ISD School Board of Trustees Candidate Forum. I'm very pleased to be your moderator for today's discussion. Enshrined in the Constitution is one of the most important functions that we can perform: our ability to select the officials that make the decisions on how the district operates through our vote. It's through this process that we make our voices and wishes known as to how we wish the education of our children to ultimately proceed in Killeen ISD. The level of material support the district provides, the quality and condition of its facilities, the safety of its buses and equipment, how its educators and support professionals are compensated and treated in the workplace. All of these things and more are provided through the election of those serving on the Board of Trustees. We're here to have a conversation with those who are seeking positions on the board for places 6 and 7. Our goal is to learn more about their stances on positions that directly impact students and those who help make their education possible, how they think, and how they would approach the challenges that face KISD as we continue into the future. We encourage you to listen to their responses as many times as you need and give careful consideration to whom you wish to lead the district forward. Most of all, we highly encourage you to use your power to vote. A voice that remains silent is a voice that gives up control over its fate. We want you, the viewer, to know that the questions for tonight's conversation were selected in advance. All the questions will be put to all the candidates to answer so that you may make your own comparisons and draw your own conclusions. The Executive Board of Killeen Educators Association has not made any decisions regarding potential endorsements and will not make them prior to the conclusion and publishing of this forum in its entirety. Would each of you be, because it's important for us in terms of having our voice, by a show of hands, would each of you be willing to meet with the leadership and the members of Killeen Educators Association on a regular basis to talk about issues and concerns? Just show of hands. 1, 2, 3, all 4 of you. We like to see that. So I guess, could you give us 30 seconds, just really briefly on why that's important to you? And I think I accidentally skipped over Ms. Purser last time to go first, so we'll let her go first this time.
You know, I think in a nutshell, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we support site-based decisions. We support the public. We want parent involvement. We want them to participate. So I just want to make sure that everybody clearly understands that we are, you know, the problem with our position is we set policy and we set budget. That's what we do in a nutshell. So, you know, we just have to make sure that everybody understands that our hands are tied to a point. There are little minute things that we are not really supposed to be touching. The day-to-day, making sure that everybody is doing their job, micromanaging, that's not my job. The only thing that I can do is set the policy, set the standard for the district, set the budget for the district, and then I've got to make sure that whenever someone comes to me and says to me, whether it be an organization such as yourself or an individual parent, that we at least listen and say, okay, where is it that we can improve upon the policy or the funding for this item?
Thank you. Ms. Carter?
I think it's important to basically, like I said, to know what's going on, share, to know what concerns that the staff has, because, you know, we're on the outside looking in. And that's why I said, I think it's just, I would love the communication. I would love the feedback, because that helps in setting policy, knowing, you know, basically what the staff is feeling, what the day-to-day issues are. Because, you know, sometimes we may not know, but, you know, there may be some biased policies that we're not aware of. We're not going to be aware of that unless the staff feels comfortable enough to share those things with us, because some of those policies may have to be adjusted or changed. And so that's why I think that having that feedback from the staff, and I want to make sure to say it's in an environment where they're not going to feel retaliated against. I think that's really important, so that they can share their ideas and their concerns with the school board members or whoever's, you know, in this case, school board members. But that's why I think it's important to have these regular meetings, because things change, you know, from day to day.
Thank you. Mr. Adams.
we have a diverse school district. We all make up the district. And I think in order to make policies, and so we have sound decisions, we have to get out and meet with every constituency that make up the district. So yeah, I think it's very important to sit down with the Educators Association. Even if it's just a group of teachers that's not a part of it, I think we need to meet with auxiliary employees, substitutes, or even folks that are just in the community. But it helps when we get ready to vote, that we're voting not just based off of what we think, and we vote based off of what the input that we receive. And sometimes if it might be important to be a sounding board for something that might be coming up, and it could, and I may not agree with what your stance is, then it's my opportunity to, hey, I agree with what's being presented, and I should be able to try to convince you. But if you still don't agree, then I still need to support or present your stance, regardless of whether it's pro or con the issue. And so I think that is very integral for a sitting board member to meet with as many constituencies as possible, especially those that make up the groups that make up our teachers and staff.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Mills.
As it relates to KEA, I think it's obviously important to meet with you guys and to hear your concerns as often as possible. Y'all have a pulse on the district and those working every single day. And so us as board members, we may not have that exact pulse on what's going on based on the fact that, that we have careers or other things going on. But it's also important just to meet with everybody in the district and all the stakeholders and all the community leaders and parents and teachers and even the students to get a pulse on what's going on in the district and to hear those concerns. The school board's job is to be the voice for those people and to hold the district administration accountable. And kind of to touch on what Ms. Purser said, it's not our job to run the day-to-day operations of the district, but it is our job to make sure that those that are hired to do that, that they are held accountable to the standards that we put forward. So it's important to meet not only with you, but with all the organizations and community leaders and parents and everybody to ensure that we can be that voice every other Tuesday night, when we get together.